Good morning. Good Wednesday morning. Trash day. Trash day over here. Oh. I got sidetracked. I was watching a squirrel. Poor little squirrel limping along. Like there's something wrong with his back leg. Yeah, poor little guy. We have squirrels all over the place. Penny, you like that? You like that cup? Good morning, everybody. Poor little squirrel. Poor little rat with a furry tail. Good morning, Vegas. I'm glad Vegas is here. What is that Carole King album? Didn't Carole King have an album, Vegas, called Tapestry? Wasn't that a good album back in the day? Carole King. I like her and I like James Taylor. I wish we could play music here, but who knows if it's copyrighted or not. Wasn't that the name of her album, Penny? That's a good album. Carole King. How about Joni Mitchell? Joni Mitchell was cool too. I gotta listen to some Joni later. Bows and flows of angel hair and lightning castles in the air. I love you, Jonathan K. We love her, I love you. Good morning. So, good morning, everyone. Dude, for going so good. Let's get a fast start this morning. I have right after we do these couple of videos, I want to show you guys a tapestry that was sent to us, but it wasn't by Carole King. It wasn't Carole King, Penny. Okay? Niffy's working and listening today. You know what? So is Waz. Waz is back to a different work schedule, so he says I'll be listening, but I won't be. Don't think Waz disappeared that or I did anything with him. I promise Waz is okay. He, after saging his house, the Vatican approved it. Do you guys remember? It was all worked out fine. He wrote to me, you know what he said? He had his wife watch that show that we did that. And then they put that video together. That when he saged the house with Italian sausage. How cute. How cute. I love a couple having fun together. Isn't that wonderful, Laura? Hey, honey, I have a good idea. Why don't we do a video? That's good stuff. They probably didn't fight very much that day with the old sausage smudge. I'm just saying, I bet you the fights were down to a lower level than, I don't think they fight, but I'm just saying. It's a good way to not fight, have fun. Hey, honey, instead of fighting today, can we have fun? Hey, what a good idea. What a great idea. Hey, instead of arguing and having old grudges come up, think we could just go have fun? Let's play. Oh, that's what we do here in the morning. We play. Sausage smudge. Oh, we're sausage smudging up a show here. Here. Don't forget, please, to get your costume ideas in. We're going to show some costumes ideas coming up. We also have Trash Talk Friday coming up. Trash Talk Friday's coming up, where we are going to be, I personally will be trashing the New York Yankees. Okay? I don't know, and I won't read anything that's negative about the Dodgers. So we're going to have a great time talking trash on Friday. I'm probably going to go ahead and do a preview Trash Talk today. Okay? But this is going to be a great Trash Talk Friday, free. See, I won't read any of the other comments. Okay, here we go. Nip, get to work. Here we go. So, how about this? Let me ask you guys a question. Would you ever sell your soul to the devil to like be to be great at something? Would you ever sell your soul to the devil to be really good at something? I mean, like top level. You're it. Sarah's, no, I'm not doing it. Devil can't have my soul. Derek Anderson saying never. How come some people do it though? Jesus sold his soul so he could be Jesus. Okay. Most of us are on the never. No. I don't want to do that. But there's a couple of people out there that have like, you know what? If I just sell my soul to the devil, if I sell my soul, Lotta's like, maybe. Yeah, Lotta. If I just sell my soul, the Dodgers will win. No. What would the devil do with my soul? Did you ever think of that? The guys that sold it? What's he doing with them? But in the meantime, let's consider you've decided no, you aren't mushy. I refuse to accept that. That's not in my agreement category. You're a wonderful, wonderful human being. You're not even demonic, let alone a devil. Well, Penny, that's what he does. He just tortures them forever in a lake of fire kind of a thing. Who wants to... Okay, that's enough of a lead up. I do too long of lead ups. I found out my lead ups are like way too long. Here we go. That time I sold my soul to the devil. Okay? This is that time.
Tell a lot of people this, but I actually sold my soul to the devil to play guitar. Has anybody done that? So stupid. Yeah, I was like at the whole crossroads or whatever. And, at first, I show up there and he's there, and it was kind of awkward. And I was like, so what happens? I just sign my name in blood and then I can play the guitar? And he's like, yeah. And so I signed my name in blood. And then after that, I was like, well, I don't feel like I can play the guitar right now. And he goes, well, what I was thinking is like, every Monday we could get you started on some chords and some theory, and then we'll move into like I could teach you like a Leonard Skinner song. And I was like, wait a second, I thought the whole idea is that I sell my soul and then I can jam on the guitar. And he was like, well, no, you got to practice. And, so I like to tell a lot of people.
No, you gotta practice. Oh, Jesus. Oh, good morning. Still gotta practice. Practice. I think you went to the wrong devil. Personally, I thought you showed up. I thought if the minute you sign in blood, you could jam. Man, you are freaking ripping. You go, okay, we're going to start with the chords. Okay. Gamer, be very careful which devil you sell your soul to. Okay? That devil went down to Georgia just to practice. He went to Lucas the Lone Shark, not Lucifer. Oh, Law sent me that. Now that is funny. You gotta say, give me 5 people that said that was funny, Pops. Give me 5. Quick. I'm gonna show you something else. Quick. That was funny. It reminds you that nothing comes easy. We got to practice. Okay? Don't think there's shortcuts. There's not a lot of shortcuts out there. Okay, one more. Excuse me. Pardon me. I just have this terrible cold. And you know what I'm finding out? I don't think it's a cold. I've had it for so long, I don't think it's a cold anymore. I think it's allergies. I've never had allergies in my life. I'm in Michigan. They say there's allergies everywhere this season. And I have all the symptoms of a cold, the allergy, except for the fever part. And I get that everyone's allergies. So starting today, I'm decided it. Today I'm going to try antihistamines. So I'm going to try antihistamines because I think there's histamines flying all around, and I want a couple of antis. So wish Pops luck on his antihistamine crusade. Okay, golden rod tea, Niffer, you don't have to. I'll pick some up. Okay. Oh, but I'm coughing and nothing stays down right. It's crazy. Let's do this one. Yankee fans. So there's a lot of posers out there. Okay? I will, Niffy. There's a lot of posers out there. Yankee posers. Yankee posers. New York Yankee posers. Just because you think the hat's cool. Just because you think the hat is cool. Just because it's got like that cool NY on it. Some of you are wearing hats and you're not even Yankee fans. You just think they're cool. Dodgers, now that's the real hat. It's a perfect color blue. Yankee, go home. Get out of here with that hat, Derek Anderson.
I think I just had the most awkward interaction I've ever had in my life. I didn't realize that most women wear a Yankee hat for the aesthetic and aren't actually fans. I was trying to talk to this woman, but I think she thought I was talking about this general area. I was like, they're looking great. And she was like, this is the best they've looked in years. And I was like, I know, I've been watching them. And she goes, excuse me? And I was like, yeah, I've been a lifelong fan. I used to fantasize about playing with them as a kid. And then she slapped me in the face and told me to go to hell. So from now on, I think I'm just going to say, go Yankees. I think I just had the most awkward interaction I've ever had in my life.
Yankees that didn't get it the first time.
Women wear a Yankee hat for the aesthetic and aren't actually
wearing Yankee hats.
I was trying to talk to this woman, but I think she thought I was talking about this general area. I was like, they're looking great. She was like, this is the best they've looked in years. And I was like, I know, I've been watching them. And she goes, excuse me? And I was like, yeah, I've been a lifelong fan. I used to fantasize about playing with them as a kid. And then she slapped me in the face and told me to go to hell. So from now on, I think I'm just going to say, go Yankees. I think I just had the most...
Okay. So we're going to start it a little early, but Friday... Oh, Friday is going to be fun, you Yanks. Okay? I was talking about this area, and I was talking about that hat. I was talking about they look great. I want to play with them since I was a kid. What? You've been watching them? Someone said, where's the Micology channel? This is it, but we only do Micology. We'll do it for about 20 minutes a day. We start out with this laughter and fun. We teach a couple things. Then we're going to mycologize. And then we're going to jump into our four agreements. Okay? So that's for our friend in Philadelphia. Because we get people here that want all kinds of things. So we try to put it all together. Good stuff. That was good stuff. I want to read a couple of things to you this morning. Sarah Bear, that's so sweet of you right there. I feel blessed to be here the days that, I can still make it here. Even when I don't feel great, I can still be here. And then the funny thing is I sort of drag to the screen when I'm not feeling great. But like after an hour and 20 minutes, I'm like, woohoo, let's go. So it's good stuff. Really good stuff, and it's thanks to most of you here. Great minds. We were talking yesterday about the rules of civility. George Washington does these rules of civility. It wasn't just George, but the boys back in the day. They were teaching how to be gentlemen, how to be civil. Didn't always work, of course, because there's humans are in the class. But those that took it to heart, you could tell. You could tell by the way they acted. They heard these rules, these precepts of good idea for social behavior, and they followed them. And it was clear. You could see a guy walking in the room. That guy's a gentleman. That guy over there, I don't know, he's a little bit of a country bumpkin. He's picking his nose. That guy over there has never picked his nose in public in his life, etc. Great minds. What do great minds think about nice manners? Confucius. Confucius wrote this: the superior man is dignified. The superior man is dignified. His countenance, there is no anxiousness. He is benign. He also gave advice on listening and watching carefully what others did. Considerations for others is the basic of a good life and a good society. That's what Confucius had to say about good manners and people with good manners. That was pretty good. How about Sir Walter Raleigh? Who was Walter Raleigh? He was one of England's great explorers, right? He's also very involved in the tobacco trade here in North America. What did Sir Walter Raleigh say? Better were it to be unborn than to be ill-bred. You're better off being dead if you can't be polite. It's a pretty good one. Isn't this the guy that was so polite that he laid his cape out? Didn't he lay his cape out so he's like somebody didn't get their petticoats wet? And then he had to pick up the cape. I think that was Walter Raleigh, wasn't it? Go back on that one. He's so polite. I'm gonna lay my coat down on the mud puddle. He was later beheaded because of political intrigue. You can be as polite as you want, be ill-bred, and we're just gonna cut your head off later. What did Benjamin Disraeli say? Most of you are going, Disraeli, well, who's that? Disraeli was a British prime minister. Okay? He wrote a book on manners, wit and wisdom. In the section that's his favorite manners-related statement, it says, nowadays manners are easy and life is hard. Manners change with time and circumstances. Customs must be observed everywhere. This guy was a little bit of a flip-flopper. But it's actually obey and respect the customs of the place that you are. I don't think anybody's customs are any better than anyone else's. What did Ralph Waldo Emerson say? Are you guys bored yet? Is this okay that I'm saying these things to you? What did these guys say about it? Yeah, when in Rome, be a Roman. Act Roman. Well, not act Roman, but you know, it's a weird fact. When you're in Europe, when you're in Europe, Americans aren't the most favorite tourists, even though we probably bring a lot of money over there. And in general, I think we probably act pretty decently. But there's a certain European dislike for American tourists. The one thing that they said, or I've been reading, or I don't even know where I got this, to be perfectly honest with you, but I've heard. How do you spot an American tourist? How do you spot them? I mean, how would an Italian guy know this guy walking down the street's an American, and that guy over there is, I'm not sure where he's from? Because the Americans tend to, yeah, that's it, Penny. They tend to wear something with the American flag on it. When we're visiting, we wear our flags as part of our clothing. It's in the color, we wear American flag stuff when we're there. And according to the concept of what I was reading, no other country does that. The British don't go over there and wear British flags around. The Swiss aren't walking around with flags on their own country. No other country does that. Go look at a picture of, like, St. Peter's Square or something. You can spot the Americans. There's a bunch of people wearing flags. It's weird. And I'm not saying that I'm not having a judgment either way. It's just pointing out interesting how Americans customarily wear an American flag when we travel. And yet you don't see a French guy walking around with his flag on. That's funny. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson said he devoted a whole essay to the topic of manners. Among his conclusions, he said, manners aim to facilitate life and to get rid of impediments and bring the man pure to energize. When you have good manners, you have better energy. You feel better. When you have better manners, they aid our dealing and conversation as a railway aids traveling, Emerson says. Manners are our railroad. Kind of makes sense. That's a good railroad of communication. He also said, by getting rid of all avoidable obstructions of the road and leaving nothing to be conquered by pure space, such is manners. That's pretty poetic. You have to break that one down. Wolfgang von Goethe. Wolfgang von Goethe, he was a German writer and an artist back in the day. Did operas and stuff, I think. A man's manners are the mirror in which he shows his portrait. Okay, hold on. Hold everything. Wait a minute. What? That one deserves... Yeah. A man's manners are the mirror in which he shows his portrait. Ding. Benjamin Franklin. I only have two more. Benjamin Franklin. What did old Benny have to say about manners? Franklin often touched on the subject when he used his Poor Richard's Almanac. Remember, he was Poor Richard? He would write stuff under the pseudonym of Poor Richard, and he published the most popular almanac in North America. He could be stern, Benjamin could be, with lines like this: teach your child to hold his tongue. He'll learn fast enough how to speak. Tell them to be quiet, because they're going to learn how to talk soon enough, how to be sassy and smart pantsies soon enough. But he was insightful on the topic of Native Americans. Savages, we call them, only because their manners are different from ours. You ever called somebody a savage? Ever thought people were savage just because they were different than you? Historically, we did it all the time. We just, we'll just wipe them out. They're different than us. And our us's are better than theirs is. Final one, Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde. The world was my oyster, but I used the wrong fork. What does that have to do with manners? The world was my oyster, but I used the wrong fork. Oscar, what are you talking about? I have to figure that one out. Good morning, you well-mannered, non-ill-bred people. Okay, that was a weird one, huh, Kim? Where'd that one come from? I used the wrong fork. Well, don't fork at it. Fork at about it. Nah. Good morning, everybody. Okay, I just switched on IG. There we go. Hello, IG. We just popped you on. I didn't understand the fork one. I'm gonna have to go back and study that one. All the other ones, like, oh yeah, I get it. That one, oh, I'm gonna clap. Oh, what? What? Oysters, forks, and how'd you even get the oyster open? And Jesus Christ's ex-wife was an oyster, and I'm so confused. Okay? Yesterday, and for the last few weeks, last week or two, we've been talking about getting your grow started. So yesterday we decided that we wanted to make sure that the substrate that we're going to put our spawn, our colonized grain spawn, we want that substrate to be pH neutral. Okay? We also want it to be pasteurized. Speaking of the recipe itself, there are a lot of recipes out there, and this is where you get to be, as a home cultivator, you get to find out what works best for you and your setup. The truth is, it's very, very hard for anybody to give you exact information in mycology, because everybody's working with different environments. You're using different tools, you're using different techniques, you're using different air spaces, you're using different liquid cultures, you're using, everything typically is different. There's general rules, but it's very hard to be specific, okay? The author of this book, the Radical Micology book, Radical Micology, the author of this has a really neat term that he uses in this situation that I'm talking about. And I like it. I've invoked this quite a few times, but I didn't ever know that there was a term. So listen to this, okay? It depends. It depends. What? Well, it depends. When I teach cultivation, I'm frequently asked whether certain hypothetical cultivation scenarios will work. Often these project ideas sound feasible, but having not done them myself, I cannot give a definitive answer to the question. So instead of discouraging curious investigation, I give the most honest answer I can. It depends. This "it depends" clause, IDC, is due to the fact that the success of any cultivation practice or experiment is dependent upon numerous factors that make it difficult to assume exact expectations on yields and time frames, species and strain, substrate source, age and preparation, inoculation timing and rates, incubation and fruiting parameters, and a little luck all contribute to the speed and success of any project. Following the principles and protocols that we're talking about, we're going to get you those general results, but we can't be specific. All we can actually do when you ask for specifics is answer, it depends. It's kind of a cheesy way out, but he's right. He's right. It's impossible to be more accurate than giving your own personal experience. Okay? And that's always going to be your most accurate. See, I've never really done that before. I don't jump into answering. People are like, hey, Pops, how do you grow this? I've never grown them before. I haven't. You haven't? I thought you were the mushroom guy. No, I grow psilocybin mushrooms. In the last 2 years, I've stopped even experimenting. I'm just growing the strains that I know work really well in my setups and that get great medicine out to the people I try to serve and supply to. I'm a farmer for a certain situation, so they actually are looking for that same. They want a regularity because of what they do with it. They don't want to, every time I come here, we have a different strain. I don't understand it. Okay? So we keep it simple, Herb. And the most we'll do is just up the volume every once in a while. Just once in a while. And then once in a while we get going. The volume's too high and you break the speakers and you got to start over. So now we've got our substrate. The mix that I use is incredibly basic. After 18 months of being Mr. I'm going to find the best substrate on the planet Earth, I did. I found the best substrate that's ever worked for me. Soil substrate. It's called Dino Soil. D-I-N-O soil. I'm always a commercial for those guys and they don't even know it. They're over in San Diego and they're sleeping right now. They don't know Pops is giving them a free commercial right now. Dino Soil is out of this world as a great substrate. It comes to you already field capacity. It's already got the water amount that's supposed to be in it. And it is an incredibly good product, backed up by, yes, Emperor Penguin, backed up by phenomenal service. I've never once been let down by them, or I've never once recommended somebody to them and had them come back and say that was a bad recommendation. Dino Soil. You can buy them on Etsy. Okay, you can go over to the Etsy, and they're on Etsy, and they have their prices by the pounds and stuff like that over there. And generally, whenever I had in the past, I was running out of time and I couldn't make some of my own, so I shot off a note to Dino Soil. Within a week, there was 100 pounds on my front porch from UPS. 100 pounds. Prep, done, boop, done, here. No questions asked. So they deliver. All right? And most of us aren't going to be looking for 100 pounds. So shoot over to Etsy and get yourself Dino Soil if you don't want to make your own. They keep it extremely basic. They haven't told me their proprietary blend, but Pops isn't. He's been around the game a little bit. I can look at it and I know what most of it is, unless they've got some extra secret ingredient, which I don't think they do. They've kept it as simple as we do here. Dino Soil. Okay? The extra ingredient that they use that I don't is they add turtle or tortoise droppings. Tortoise manure is mixed in, but I can guarantee you, and again, I don't know their proprietary mix, but I can guarantee you they're not going to add a lot of it. It's just a touch. The rest of it's the same basic ingredients that we use here. So, what's Pop's blend? I'm going to tell you my blend, And then you can go out there and look up different blends, come up with all of the different ones you want, and practice and use different ones. And eventually, it depends on your setup what works the best. Here, what we do is very, very simple. I use 60% cocoa coir. If I'm making a batch, 60% of the volume weight is 60% is cocoa coir. 30 to 35% is vermiculite, which adds some minerals and some zinc and some other things. But what vermiculite really does is it helps keep the spongy part of the cocoa coir, the shredded cocoa leaves, husks. It keeps them from matting completely. It gets little stuff in there and it creates the matrix. Okay? So all I use is cocoa coir and vermiculite. Literally, Herbie just said it perfectly. It keeps it from getting muddy, the cocoa coir. You could use cocoa coir 100% if you want, but it's going to hold too much water. So we add vermiculite, and vermiculite's almost a drainage system. Okay? That's all I need. Two ingredients. Boop. Done. 60-40. Done. Pops, it can't be that simple. It is. Everything else is an additive, and every other add that I put in it gives me an opportunity to probably not create to not have the best substrate. Things can go wrong. If I stay with my two basic ingredients, the third ingredient that we will add, because it's pretty inert, doesn't cause a lot of problems, and it makes me feel like I'm helping my mushroom cake just a little bit, is worm tailings or worm droppings. You get them at your grow stores. Big old bag of worm droppings. And what it is it's a super dark brown. It's the worm poop, but they've processed it somehow. And there are some nutrients in there that are helpful to my cake, but my cakes do fine with them or without it. So worm castings. Thank you, Emperor. That's what they are, castings. That's it. Pops, it can't be that simple. It's that simple. I don't add cocoa. I don't add gypsum. The chances of my getting more out of adding the gypsum or hurting my cake are about 50-50. So why do it? I don't get that much more when I add gypsum and I hit the mark perfectly. So why do it? Same thing with coffee grinds, used coffee grinds. There's a lot of people out there have their own proprietary mixes. Go ahead and do any of them. And then if you feel like it, try mine. 2 ingredients. And then maybe add in a little bit of worm poop. That's it. So if you did do that, don't go more than 10% with your worm castings. That's my whole thing. And now we have to have it at the correct water weight. Or not water weight, but water consistency. And so what we're going to do is we have it at what they call field capacity. Field, F-I-E-L-D, field, as if we're out in the field. And this is how much water would be in the soil in a natural state. If it's too wet, mycelium won't be attracted to it. If it's too dry, mycelium is not going to make it. We have to have it just the right field capacity of water. It's really easy to figure out your field capacity. Add your water to your soil mix until you reach the point where what you'll want to do is reach in and grab a handful of your cocoa verm mix with little worm castings and give it a good squeeze. Give it a good squeeze. And all you should see is a few little water drops. Just a little. If it's really watery, you've got too much water. You might have to add some more soil. If you're not getting any water drops, it's probably a little too dry. That's it. You're going to do a little field capacity test on how much water you've added to your soil mix. Done. Now you have your soil mix. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to sterilize it? Or are you going to pasteurize it? Which would you do? This is the time where we're going to clean the substrate. We've sterilized our spawn grains before we shot them up with the inoculum. We ran through the pressure cooker sterilization. Are we going to do that with our substrate too? Enormous says, no, I think we just pasteurize at this point. Sarah Bears, you guys all know this already. At this point, we are not going to want to sterilize. You can. You can if you want to. But you're actually going to create a really risky ecological system if you sterilize your cocoa coir mix at this point. Okay? What you're going to want to do is pasteurize. Let's talk about the difference. I'm going to briefly discuss sterilization, and then we're going to discuss pasteurization. And you'll be able to tell the difference, and then we're going to discuss why. Sterilization is intended to kill all living organisms by maintaining above boiling temperatures, which is approximately 250 degrees, for a sustained period of time. Theoretically, all organisms can be killed at this temperature in about 15 minutes. But Pops, we sterilize for 90 minutes. I don't get it. Theoretically, after 15 minutes of sterilization, we're probably killed just about everything we're going to kill. However, longer time periods are called for in many practices to ensure that the heat thoroughly penetrates the dense materials. That jar is pretty densely packed with grain. We want to make sure it's getting sterilized all the way through. So that's why we run them for 90 minutes. After sterilization, these substrates are a blank slate. They're sitting there, they have no competition, no germs, no bacteria, no endospores, nothing on them. They're sitting there, a blank slate, waiting for the next thing. And in most cases, that blank slate, we drop some mycelium liquid culture on it, and that starts to eat that blank slate. And there's no competition in the jar with other microbes and things like that because we've sterilized. We don't want to do that to our soil. We don't want our soil to be a blank slate. If we make our soil a blank slate, from then on, every time we handle our cake or do anything with our tubs, we've got to do it in either a still air box or underneath a laminar airflow, something, because your soil is now sterile. And when you go to open up that box and you've got a cake sitting there and all that stuff's dropping in from the sky, it's no longer sterile. So sterilizing your cocoa coir mix becomes pretty dumb after the first time you open the bag and you make your mix. You're already past sterilization. You've already lost it. Okay? So what we do is we pasteurize it. And there's also a reason. If we sterilized it, it would kill all of the microbes and all of the bacteria and all of the stuff that's on the cocoa coir mix, just like it did the grain. We don't want that. You don't? It's just like isopropyl. We don't want 99% isopropyl. We want 70%. Because what we want for that is we want the isopropyl to sit on the bacteria and kill the cell walls first, rather than just blast them with the 90% and it's evaporated before we've killed a cell wall. It's kind of the same concept. Here's what we're doing with pasteurization. Okay? With pasteurization, substrates are heated to around 170 degrees. About 170 degrees, not the 250. We do that for 1 hour to kill the mesophilic organisms that die above 113 degrees. So somewhere between 113 degrees and 170 degrees are all these mesophilic organisms that are sitting on our mix that aren't good. And we want to kill them. We're going to kill them off. Thermophilic microorganisms, thermophilic, makes sense, thermophilic microorganisms that thrive in higher temperatures can survive this heat treatment. And thereafter, they stay alive on your substrate to protect it from other microorganisms that are going to come. The lower ranged ones, the normal ones that we're going to get in normal heat ranges. So it protects it from those. These substrates and protective microbes are later consumed by the mushroom mycelium. Pasteurization allows for substrates to be inoculated in the open. It allows for, if I pasteurize my substrate, I can now mix my mix out in the open. I don't have to be in a still air box when I'm making my cake, when I'm mixing my spawn into my pasteurized mix. If it was a sterilized mix, I would already be not sterilized. Pasteurization allows for substrates that are commonly pasteurized, include agricultural waste materials, manure, composts like ours, casing materials, and plain sawdust. Pasteurizing. How do I pasteurize? There's two very easy ways that I know of. Take a cake pan. Put your mix in the cake pan. Put the cake pan, I use one of those aluminum pans. It's 3 or 4 inches deep. 9 by 12 kind of a thing. And I'll put a mix in that, okay? And then I'm going to put it in my oven for an hour. The oven's preheated at 170 degrees. Once in a while, I'll get out my cake thermometer and I'll stick it into my mix, and I'll just make sure that my mix is about 170 degrees as it's cooking away in the oven for an hour. When it comes out, it's going to be a little hot, not a problem. When it comes out of the oven, I just take that pan. I have my plastic bag. And I just take that pan, and usually I can fit the whole pan right into the bag. Then I just drop all of the material out of the pan into the bottom of the bag. At this point, when I wrap the bag, there's a filter here, okay? At this point, I'm gonna wrap my bag like this so the filter's on the inside. And I'm gonna take the top of my fold and give about a 1-inch fold right here. Like that. I'm just going to rubber band that closed. And we have the luxury here of taking bags like this, all prepped, everything's ready to go, and we put it in an autoclave, which is basically a giant pressure cooker, but you can adjust the temperatures. And I can run, I'm going to say 200 pounds at one time, like this. And these bags are just stacked in our autoclave. So if you're going to pasteurize and you have an autoclave, we just made it super easy. Actually, I didn't autoclave. I made that wrong because I would have just poured the mix in there and I wouldn't have pasteurized it in the oven. But if you've pasteurized it in the oven and you can pour it in that bag, wrap the bag to store it. Okay? So I got the two mixed up there. For us, I don't put it in the oven. It goes straight into the bag, and it goes straight from the bag mix straight into the autoclave. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up there. But you can toast it, cook it, and then once you've cooked it, you've got to put it in some kind of a material that'll hold it for a while. These plastic bags, if you don't have the ones with filter, not a problem. Get yourself some turkey bags, some basting bags. Why do you like those? Because they're heat proof. Okay, so you can drop 170 degrees worth of material inside one of those turkey bags, wrap it up, just like we did there, and you've got your substrate prepped and pasteurized and ready to go. There's another way to do it. It's bucket tech, okay? Bucket tech, we'll discuss bucket tech more tomorrow because it's going to take me a couple of minutes to explain it. And then there's one other way, and this is it's virtually bucket tech, but it's called a hot water soak. And this is where we're going to take all of our material, we're going to put it in a pillowcase or a burlap bag, something like that, and then we're going to boil it, like Corey's saying. But we boil it, and we have to really monitor the temperature of the water because we don't want it to be over 170 degrees. We'll discuss the actual bucket tech for pasteurizing and water soak for pasteurizing tomorrow, okay? And then also tomorrow we're gonna get started on how to make your tub, your mono tub, and liners, how to make liners. I have a little 5-minute video that I'll show you guys how to make a liners, okay? So that's where we're at. We're doing good. We're taking our time, working our way through this information. But for me, it depends. What I worked out is that it's super simple. I took so much of thank you to the mushrooms, and I mean this. When I tell people mushrooms have grown me more than I grow them, it's true. My ego has shrunk down to I really don't have any control over it. They taught me to stay super basic, super simple, take my ego out of it. I'm adding some super duper ingredient isn't going to do something super duper. I didn't find the answer to the fungus of the universe, nothing. If I just pay attention and I do it kind and I do it honestly and I do it deliberately and I take all of these steps with the goal in mind of not making money, but helping people. Contamination rates are down, everything, and my ego's going away, and I want to just tell people and share it and not be the only guy that has all the answers. So it's funny when you first start. My videos, I was only a year into it, and I'm going to show everybody how to do it, and you get so excited, and you get so passionate, and you really don't know jack. You don't. You're still in your novice stage. And so it's all us novices teaching each other. And so it gets kind of fun, gets a little exciting. Okay? We have a lot to learn from our mushrooms. And it's weird. How do you say that? I don't know, man. It takes a lot of humility for a guy that thinks he's the smartest cat around to say mushrooms are smarter than me. What? Yeah. Take that, ego. Page 75. Page 75 in the Four Agreement book. Yay! Mushrooms are ancient wisdom. They definitely have brought a lot of cultures and customs the same benefits over the centuries and centuries. Can you imagine that? One little fungus, it's not even a plant, it's a fungus. One little plant, or one little fungus has brought, yeah, it's amazing. I'm reading from the Four Agreements, page 75. We're going to start the fourth agreement, okay? The fourth agreement. This is one where you can start feeling guilty if you feel like it. I don't always do my best. Here, you have to grasp the concept first. There's one concept that I ask you to grasp. It's not always possible to always be 100% on at your best. Like if we have a range, it just isn't. It's not humanly possible, nor would human condition allow us to be. I can't be doing my best at my grow house if I'm at a funeral for my friend. So life steps in, and sometimes I can't be doing my best at things I want to be doing my best at. That's not the point. That isn't the point. The point is to do your best wherever you are in the condition that you are, in your set and setting. Sometimes we have headaches. I can't do my best, but I can do my best even while I have a headache. It won't be as good as my best that when I don't have a headache. It won't be. But I can still do my best. Usually my best when I'm having a headache is not getting cranky at everybody around me. Not taking it out on my friends and neighbors. I have a headache. I'm gonna be cranky now. My best is to be quiet. Go take a minute. Go relax. Take it easy. That's my best. Well, you're lazy. Sometimes our best is to do nothing. That's one hard one. Best doesn't mean you're always doing something and you're winning a medal. That's what the world's taught us. From linear, you win or you lose. There's no in between. That's not true. The in between, we can still be doing our best. It isn't about winning the medal. It's about looking at yourself and saying, am I doing my best right now? Am I doing my best to keep my mouth shut? Am I doing my best to not take this personal? I'm getting ready to take it personal. I could do my best and not. The best of me wouldn't take it personal. Am I doing my best if I'm making an assumption about you? That's a question I'm asking. Am I doing my best if I'm making an assumption about you? No, absolutely not, Matthew. Good job. Absolutely not. My best would be, instead of assuming, just ask. Well, it's hard to ask, you know. It would have been your best move. So best has a range of best. And best changes. I hate to say it because I'm not trying to be subjective. There isn't a universal best. Sometimes my best is better than your best, but I'm not measuring it by you. Sometimes yours is better than mine. I won't let that keep me from feeling okay about myself. I did my best. You have no idea what the limiting factors were. I look at my son. Pretty much every day he's doing his best. That's one reason I give him so much grace. It's the major reason, besides I choose kindness over expectations, over judgment and commandeering guilt. Think about it. I often think when we have more gifts than others, our best, we would be doing our best if we gave away these gifts. Enormous, it's not added. The dinosoil it's a whole mix already done. Dinosoil is the mix. You don't have to do anything else. You just buy the dinosoil and put your spawn in it. Always do your best. The other three are more about, the first three agreements are more about thought. You want to think what you say. You want to make sure that what you're doing and saying, or what you're really saying, is impeccable. But it starts with all intentions. Same thing with not taking things personal. It's not an action that I take. It's an internal response that I'll either refuse to give or not. Same thing with making assumptions. It isn't an overt act. It's an internal thought process that's unhealthy. Of the four agreements, the one that includes most action is doing your best. Under any circumstances, always do your best. Do you ever try to do more than your best? Doesn't work out that well all the time. I submit that it's probably not even a good idea very often at all. Maybe once in a while, I could see pushing this or overdoing things is just as unhealthy as underdoing them. That's the old rabbit and the hare story. Who did their best? The rabbit or the hare? They're both the same. The hare or the tortoise, excuse me. Who did the best? I submit maybe they both did. Maybe they were both following their own nature. Why were we taught that the tortoise won? Right, Niff? Why were we taught the tortoise won? The rabbit did exactly what he was supposed to do. He takes off. He runs out of gas a little bit because he's super fast and they don't have the long distance. He was doing his best. Who are we to judge? Keep in mind, your best is never going to be the same from one moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time. So your best will sometimes be high quality and other times not so good. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will be better than when you're tired at night. So there's been a lot of studies on something like this. A lot of studies. We are so much more productive the first 6 hours of our waking day than the last 6 hours. At work and our performances and stuff, massive amounts more get done in the morning hours than in the afternoon and evening hours. Massive amounts. It's the human, it's our biological clock. It's our system. I'm an early riser. I get a lot done in my early 2, 3, 4 hours when nothing else is going on and I can shoot over to the spot and do something. I can be here studying. I've got a lot that I can do. My afternoons, I wane a little bit. Your best will be different when you're healthy as opposed to sick. Your best will be different when you're sober versus drunk. I submit our best is never to be drunk. If we've reached that point, which we all have, we've overdone it. We've put too much of something in us and we're out of balance. Let's be honest. It's fun and nobody says don't, and you can do it once in a while because we're responsible adults. But we are putting ourselves out of balance. Choosing to. I don't know if that's the best thing to do. For me, it's not. And I'm not saying I still don't, hey, I'll still have one beer too many. Darn it. That's not my best, though, when I do. I'm not at my best. I'll be honest with you. That's not when I'm at my best. I'm at my best after maybe 1 or 2, and that's it. Your best will depend on your feelings. Good morning, Steve Wallace. Nice to see you. Your best will depend on whether you're feeling wonderful and happy or upset and angry. Your everyday moods, your best can change from one moment to another. Your best will also change over time. This is my favorite part. That's the part that I have highlighted. This is my favorite part. My best is going to change over time. Do you think my best is going to get better over time? If I practice, and I didn't sell my soul, will my best get better over time or worse? If I practice. I'm practicing. Is my best going to get better over time or worse? It's so obvious. Of course, it's going to get better over time. That's my favorite part. You mean my best today, I'm going to have a better best? Yep. You mean as kind as I try to be today, I can be kinder? Oh yeah. You mean what I'm willing to give today, I'll be willing to give more? Yep. That's what I mean. You mean I can be more impeccable than I am right now? Yeah. You're going to grow. It's going to change. Your best is going to get better. It's my favorite part. As you build the habit of the 4 new agreements, your best will become better than it ever was. You practice. My best is better today than it was yesterday. I'm not saying I'm doing it yet, but I'm capable of more best today than I was yesterday. I practiced yesterday. I'm practicing right now. Now I have to put my practice to work. But I'm practicing. So when my situations come up, I'm ready. I got my practice on. I know what I know. Unless a play comes up I've never seen before, I should know how to handle this one. Hope I'm. Every once in a while I fumble, but usually I'm handling them because I practice. Don't look at the quality of your best, because you'll start judging yourself, and you'll start being a victim. And you'll start, most of us, because we have that perfectionist streak. Well, my best wasn't good enough. Did you just say your best? Then it was good enough. How many of us beat ourselves up? My best isn't good enough. That's stinking thinking. That keeps you on the couch. That keeps you in depression. That triggers PTSDs. That kind of thinking. Just do your best and know you're doing your best. Understand my best today might not be as good as it was yesterday, but I'm not in trouble for it. I'm not mad at myself. I'm not in trouble. I'm not going to get in trouble. If I feel better tomorrow, I'll probably have a better best because I'm practicing. I prove it with my mushroom grow. Do you think I was growing like I am now 4 years ago on my mushrooms? 4 years ago to now. It took day by day by day by day by day by day practice. Don't stop. I still haven't stopped. Something blows up, start over. Practice. This goes wrong, get another one. Practice. Keep on practicing. At the end of whatever the period of time, you look back, go, wow. Oh, wow. I practiced. I was doing my best. Not every day. Some days were better, some days were worse, but at the end of the day, I look back, I'm doing my best. And the part that I want us to do best at is being impeccable. That's the easy part. Just don't say anything that isn't impeccable. Then we're going to also practice not taking things personal. Do your best at that. Assumptions. We can do our best to not have them. You're going to get one. One's going to slip in. Go, okay, geez. But last week you were doing 10 a day. Now you're only doing 3. Last week you had 10 assumptions a day. This week you're having 3 assumptions a day. Doing your best as you practice it looks like it's working. If you try too hard to do more than your best, you'll spend more energy than is needed. And in the end, your best isn't going to be good enough for you. This is called balance. This is called balance. This is called balance versus obsession. You get too obsessed with something, and it's actually going to become detrimental. It's no longer healthy. It's no longer good for you. It's now reached a point where it's bad for you. When you overdo, you deplete your body and you go against yourself. And it's going to take you longer then to accomplish your goals. All this started because you tried too hard to do your best. Your overinflated ego of what your best was. If you do less than your best, you're going to subject yourself to frustrations, to self-judgment. Less than my best today. Guilt. Oh man, shame. I'm supposed to do my best and I didn't. Bad pops. That's not the idea. The idea is just do my best. Just do your best under any circumstances in life. It doesn't matter if you're sick or tired. If you always do your best, there's no way you can judge yourself. There's 2 more sentences right now. And if you don't judge yourself, there's no way you're going to suffer guilt, blame, and judgment, self-punishment. By always doing your best, you're going to break a big spell that you've been under. That guilt and shame. I should be doing more. So you don't, and you procrastinate. Doing your best is just, hey, I'm impeccable. I said I'd do it. I'm going to do it. That's my best. Boop, done. I can't suffer anything from that. I said I was going to do it. Boop, I did it. I did my best. Keeping it simple here, right? Keeping it simple while we grow mushrooms and keeping it simple while we grow ourselves. Let's go have a wonderful day. Thanks for being here today. Tomorrow we'll be getting into some more monotub and liners information. We're going to keep talking about the 4 agreements. I think I'm going to do a little more. I probably do rando facto tomorrow. I think you guys are missing that. I wanted to do some more George Washington's rules of civility, but they're a little bit archaic. We should just know. We should just do our best. Have good manners. Whatever they're supposed to. What's your custom tell you to have good manners? Just have good manners. And make room for the latest comer. The last person in the room, the last person in the fireplace, they can have my spot. I'm warm. I'll hope that somebody gives another spot to the next person in. Don't be afraid to surrender your spot around the fire so everybody can be warm. That's a good one. Go practice. I'll see you guys here tomorrow. Same much time, same much channel. Go practice. Practicing what, Pops? We're practicing being impeccable. We're practicing not taking things personal, not making assumptions or having expectations. And we're going to do all of that to our best just today. Just today. Tomorrow takes care of itself. Tomorrow's too far away for me to worry about. If I do today, I can't wait for tomorrow. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow. Pops, peace. Anthony Tatum, nerdy. I feel it too, brother man. Melissa G. Practicing. Enormous. Herbie. Love you, Herbs. Thanks for helping us here. 4 Leaf. JW Owen, Adam Price, me right here. Niffy, thank you. Justin's okay. Cat Meowzilla. Melissa G, have a great day. Deborah Pearl, Laura, you're divine. Vegas, I forgot about the tapestry. Please, please forgive me. Please, please, please. I'll show it tomorrow morning before we do anything. Oh my goodness, I feel terrible. I have to send you something. I am sincerely sorry. Clean Grow, Hippity Hips, Mushmouth, I totally forgot. Nerd Nature, Trent, Nipper Mama, Enormous Catzilla, Sarah Bear. I wouldn't want to show it right now because it needs some introduction and stuff. Oh, Pops, I didn't do my best. Kimberly, Jesus Christ, Sarah Bear, Exception, HB, Jesus Christ, TV Boy, Herbs, Mr. Phillips Pacers, HB, Jesus Christ, Kenny C. Music, thank you. Ishmael Barraza Villegas, nice to see you here. You too, Jolie. Derek Anderson, get out of here, you Yankee fan. Shy Introvert, Pidgey, Vague, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to feel guilty, but I didn't do my best. I'll do better tomorrow. Corey D, Mark Zamaron, hi, Marky Z. Pacers, Herbie, Jesus Christ. Is that all? Only 20? Easy. Nerdy, John Zook, Melissa G, Pops, peace, love. Practice. See you guys tomorrow.